Hello, welcome. Happy 2021. This is my very first Athletes Gold Nuggets series in this new year. So happy new year to those of you who are tuning in. I'm so thrilled to have Myriam with me today. Myriam is a two-time Olympian and the founder of Athlete's Soul, which if you are aware of who I am, you probably know that I am also a coach with Athlete's Soul. So Myriam and I have been connected for a number of years now, and I feel like you're one of my dearest friends, even though our contact with each other face to face has been thwarted here and there over and over. But here you go. So thank you so much for being here, Myriam.
Thanks, Erica. Thanks for having me. And yeah, at some point we're going to have to meet in person, right?
I know. There were flights canceled and all kinds of crazy things that were happening. It's so funny. We've been trying to actually connect for is it been like 3 to 4 years? Yeah, it's crazy. So anyways, I'm so thrilled that Myriam is here. She's obviously a wealth of information as an athlete herself. And then she and I share a passion in supporting athletes and transitioning away from sports successfully. And that, there's no one term fits all for what success looks like. But I was talking with Myriam and, she was sharing some things that are really relevant for athletes right now. So Myriam, what would you say, given the current kind of state of affairs in the world right now and what athletes are facing, what would you say would be something that an athlete might need to hear right now that could be supportive in where they are?
Yeah, I think learning to deal with all the emotions that you're feeling right now. Some of it I would put on the bucket of the negative emotions, whether it's frustration, anger, uncertainty, anxiety. Being able to process, first of all, I think a lot of it we tend to not be able to articulate or name even as athlete, especially younger athletes even perhaps, where you don't really know how to articulate those emotions, and we haven't been taught and we haven't handled a lot of these emotions during our career as athletes. I think we suppress them or we put them on the side, we move forward, we keep going. But I think whether you're in a situation now or postpone or cancel season, or whether you are transitioning into your next life, you're gonna have to find the space and the time to actually process those emotions and figure out what they are. And it's really a benefit to be able to do that, because then you move forward in a better way, but you also increase your toolkit of how you can handle different situation in life, because this is bound to happen again at a different time or in a different environment. And developing this ability to recognize those emotions, name them, explain them, express them in a safely way, and then release them, I think is very valuable. So just taking the time and the space to do that, and letting yourself be vulnerable, I think is really important.
For sure. I totally agree with what you're saying. And, many of my clients have heard me say that feelings are like worms. Like you can bury a stick, you can bury a bucket, but you can't bury a worm. Like it'll eventually, squirm to the surface. And so it totally speaks to what you're saying. Like, we can maybe suppress how we're feeling for a while, but it's really important to shine the light of awareness on it, to call it for what it is. To name it, even if you don't know why, or even if you think the reason isn't really that valid, but just being able to recognize that as humans, we have emotions and they're part of the human curriculum, and just being able to acknowledge that, we're having some emotions that maybe we would label negative, but that doesn't mean anything about who you are or how powerful you are as a person.
Absolutely. And I think, I said letting yourself be vulnerable, and it doesn't mean being weak. It's different.
Yes.
It's being able to fully feel these emotions, and then letting them go. But if you suppress them, you won't be able to have that process of letting go, I think. And so it's really important to take the space to do that. But it's definitely not a sign of weakness. I would argue quite the opposite.
I agree.
And definitely it will help you understand yourself more fully, and definitely develop what I like what you use, your whole curriculum of experiences instead of just one side of it, which
Mm-hmm.
you will need in life, especially when you start having kids.
Oh, for sure. That is for sure. So yeah, and then if someone is like recognizing, okay, I'm noticing a lot of negative emotions, or I'm recognizing them, or I'm, aware of them, but now I don't really know what to do. Perhaps they're not going away, or what would you recommend in that event? Like if someone's noticing that they're just kind of being flooded with a lot of emotion that they perhaps aren't really sure what to do with.
Yeah, I think, there's many ways to deal with that. Talking with others, whether it's within your family or people you trust or friends, seeking help, like with a therapist or a coach,
Mm-hmm.
writing it down, trying to figure out, how it evolves over time,
Mm-hmm.
or hearing other people talk about their own emotion will help you perhaps as well. Like just identify which one you're going through, right?
Yes.
And then I think in accepting that you can have multiple conflicting emotions that sit within you together at one time, and it's not that black and white when it comes to emotional well-being, and it's
Right.
not I'm super happy mental health wise, or I'm not. I think everybody's on a spectrum, and it's recognizing that it varies, especially even during the day. It varies. You may have a moment where you feel very good, and then it's like this confusion even sometimes where you have mixed feelings at the same time. I don't think that athletes are very used to mixed feelings.
Yeah.
Lose, and so it's getting used to that, because it can bring a lot of confusion if you have unusual feelings sitting together, I think. But yeah, definitely asking for help, talking with others,
Mm-hmm.
journaling. Yeah.
Yes, I agree with everything that you just said. I mean, that's so powerful to actually, some of us are able to process things better if we kind of write it down for ourselves and are able, and then sometimes we're external processors. So hearing me tell somebody something, for me, I'm an external processor. So that helps to like put things into perspective or to move past something, or, so when you're talking about someone asking for help, or even, just talking with a friend or somebody who you trust, it's really a powerful way to deal with the
I think
emotions.
also for me too is recognizing the triggers or the moment where things change,
Yes,
and that's really hard. It really requires to pay attention to how you're feeling.
totally.
But if you're feeling poorly, is recognizing at that instant, okay, let's stop. I'm feeling poorly. Let's stop and try to figure out what brought that on.
Mm-hmm.
What was the initial trigger? Because if you can recognize those triggers, you know what feelings will happen afterwards, and then you're gonna be able to deal with it a little bit easily. So
Definitely.
yeah, just figuring out what are the things that triggers you, and whether it's external factor, internal factor, how you're feeling that day, could be many different things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And let's talk a little bit about Athlete Soul. Like if athletes are interested in learning more about Athlete Soul, and well, why don't you tell everybody what Athlete Soul is first of all, and then and then we can talk about how to get in contact with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So Athlete Soul is a nonprofit organization that was formed by former athletes, and basically helps the athlete with their transition to life after sport. So the organization offers tons of educational resources through the website, educational events, and we also do individual coaching to help athletes through their transition from sport, as well as networking. So if you want to learn more about the organization and what we do, you can visit our website, which is www.athletessoul.space. And Erica happens to be one of our coaches, and she's awesome.
Yeah. Yes, and I will also put the website when we post this video. I'll put it so that people can easily click on the link in case they want to check it out. But I have to say, the website and what Myriam's done with the organization, there's a wealth of information There's, you know, like she said, informational webinars, there's opportunities for networking, and it's all athletes supporting athletes, which I think is so cool. And which is one of the things that really, it's just near and dear to my heart. So
yeah, it's really exciting to see, and it's growing by the minute to see all these former athletes who can relate to the cause of what we're doing. And just, you know, the community has been growing, and it's really exciting to see everybody involved to help it grow, including you. So it's been great.
Oh, thanks. Well, you've done a ton of work to get it off the ground. And so it's just really cool to see there's always something new going on that I'm always like, gosh, Myriam, it's amazing. You just never stop. She's always thinking of something new. So anyways, so yeah, so make sure you guys check out Athlete's Soul, and I'll put the link to the website in the narrative here. So you have an easy way of finding it. And thank you so much, Myriam, for your time and for sharing your thoughts and your experience and your expertise with us.
Thanks, Erica. Thank you so much.
All right. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.